As the logistics officer on board a submarine, you're in charge of various parts of the logistic organisation. Every submarine is broken into 4 departments. You'll have 2 engineering departments, the warfare department, and then the logistics department, which supports everything the other departments do. The logistics officer tends to act as a principal staff officer to the captain, which means he oversees things like correspondence, but is also a legal advisor dealing with things such as service complaints, personnel issues, and rules of engagement and military law. On board a submarine at sea, the ship's company is divided into 2 teams, first watch and second watch. And you work 6 hours, and then you have 6 hours off, and you work that routine constantly for the entire time you're at sea. When I've been at sea as a logistics officer, I've always been in second watch, so my usual day would start at about 1 o'clock in the morning, when I'd get up and I'd sort of conduct my watch-keeping requirements. That could involve doing some navigation, sitting as ship control, which sort of effectively means managing the team that is driving the submarine around. Or you could be conducting other sort of watch-keeping requirements. You are looking after something where 130 people live, and with regards to feeding them, getting them the things that they need, sorting out their money and their clerical needs, you sit at the top of that organisation working for the commanding officer and the executive officer. I mean, obviously, there are some really challenging aspects to working on a submarine. You can go quite a long period of time in one go without sort of being out in the fresh air or sort of seeing sunlight. On Trafalgar-class submarines, which is one of the types of submarines we have, there are always a certain number of people on board who will have to hot bunk, which means when they finish their 6 hours in bed and get up, there's an opposite number who will be getting into their bed, and that bed will always be in use. You can normally have a shower every day, but there are often water restrictions in place, and generally you have a shower by turning the water on for long enough to be wet all over. You then turn it off while you soap yourself up, and then you turn it back on for long enough to rinse yourself off, and that's a shower. There's certainly no standing in the shower for 5 or 10 minutes to relax at the end of the day. And those are the sacrifices you make for the excitement of going to sea on a submarine. So it's not necessarily for everyone. However, there are plenty of elements that do make it worthwhile. The thing that I really enjoy about it is the camaraderie. When I've been at sea, it's been with 130 people in a confined space for a long period of time, which means you learn to thrive on a sense of humour and things you have in common, and you develop close relationships quite quickly with the guys who work around you, and it's that sense of teamwork that makes it really enjoyable. I think the best thing about being a submarine logistics officer is that during my second job in the Royal Navy, I was running my own department as the only logistics officer on board. The majority of my colleagues who went straight to surface ships, whilst they not only missed out on the submarine experience, but it'll be later in their careers that they'll have the opportunity to run a department on their own.